Welcome back. The ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority are no strangers to public and community service. It's the oldest Greek letter organization founded by African American women in college and was started on the campus of Howard University, which is also the alma mater of Vice President elect Kamala Harris. Joining me to talk about what this means to the legacy of the AKAs, as well as all Black Greek letter organizations representing the Divine Nine, is the president and CEO of AKA Sorority Incorporated, Dr. Glenda Glover. Dr. Glover, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
It's nice having you on. So come on, tell us about this moment and how the organization is feeling right now with VP-elect Harris sitting on the top of the mountain. How do you guys feel right now?
Well, obviously we're excited. We're just basking in this proud moment for Black women everywhere, Black women in the United States, Black women around the world. We're just so excited for women in general and just for the country as a whole. This is such a proud, inspirational moment because it's a game changer for little girls, little Black girls, little Indian girls, little Asian girls, because they can look at Senator Harris, Vice President-elect Harris, and see that it can be done. Because if you can see it, you can be it, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just so amazing. Just to watch, even on my campus, where I serve as president of Tennessee State University, the students are so excited. They're looking at what has happened from an HBCU perspective, from a Black woman perspective. It's one of those moments. And then the Divine Nine. When we,
Right, we're going to get to that because,
yeah,
one thing though, the AKAs, really demonstrating the strength of its long held influence at the highest levels in this country. So, like you're saying, a very, very proud moment. Let's talk about the power of Black women voters. What did the AKAs do to galvanize its members and other Divine Nine organizations like never before?
well, as we know, Black women have been the backbone of this country, not just the Democratic Party, but this entire country. And so, Black women, we vote. When we go to the polls, we don't just go by ourselves. We take our family members, we take our friends, we take our sorority sisters, we take our cousins and our uncles and our sisters and our brothers. So we all go to the polls to vote. And whether it's in person or absentee, we vote. And so when we vote, we all vote, and that's when we win. So that's been very exciting for us to know that we're making a difference. We made a difference in the election that took place in November, and now for the January election in Georgia, we're still working equally as hard.
Right. We definitely want to talk about that. But it's funny. You said, yeah, you bring people to the polls, but you also bring choreography. We saw y'all out there. You bring a party with you.
Well, they strolled to the polls. They had all four Black sororities dressed in our colors and strolled into the polls. We pulled out all the stops this time because this election was too consequential, too important.
Mhm.
It had wide-reaching implications. It had lasting implications, and so we had to encourage everyone possible to make sure you voted this election. And
You know,
so
saying that and all that went into showing the numbers, showing the strength, showing the unity, only for the current president to say, not so quick. Biden, Harris,
sorry about
not
that.
yet. It ain't over yet. It ain't over yet. So, how do you feel about that?
Well, I was actually alarmed that such outright disenfranchisement of African American voters would just take place. It was just so open. It was
Mhm.
in your face. It was it was just unbelievable that it's still fighting in the Black areas to say that your vote just we're not gonna let your vote count. After all that we've done to get the right to vote, we're gonna have it just summarily dismissed like that on a summary judgment of sorts? No. So we're not letting that happen under any circumstances.
You
So
know, as you said, you are president of Tennessee State University at HBCU, and this current president, President Trump, says that, hey, listen, I have done more for HBCUs than anybody else. So, what are your thoughts on that statement?
Well, I'm not sure what that statement meant because some presidents have discussed it and said we're just not sure what he's referencing. Perhaps he meant the COVID funding, the CARES funding. That's all we could come up with, because the CARES funding, of course, is we're most appreciative, but the background of that is it was a Congressional Black Caucus that did that.
Mm-hmm.
It was it was Alma Adams and Kamala Harris and Marsha Fudge, and we had members of the Congressional Black Caucus that fought. I know because I was up with them late at night drafting legislation with them, and working with them. So I know who did that. I know who carried the water, who fought, and how they had to form the coalitions to get it through. And they finally got it and got um, McConnell to get him to sign it. So it wasn't like it was an
Mm-hmm.
easy done deal. That's why the hypocrisy of saying I did this, but we know what happened. I mean, maybe the country didn't know, but several the presidents knew what happened, But we are very
Right. And that's why I
appreciative.
want you to set it straight because, like you said, maybe the country don't know, but they know now.
But we're very appreciative of the CARES Act funding because it was what was needed for COVID-19. It was emergency. That was emergency funding. But we're asking to go further than that. That's what we were seeking for 4 years, and what we were seeking for the
Mhm.
next administration. HBCUs need funding much different, far different from the CARES Act, and what's different from just emergency funding. We need funding for growth and development, research funding. We want to become major research centers at HBCUs. We have 11 HBCUs that are in the second research category, the second highest research category possible, second only to the Harvards and the Yales. But we're in the second categories. We want to move up. There's no HBC in the highest research category. We're trying to move to that level.
Coronavirus cases are increasing in nearly every state in the U.S.
You can actually get coronavirus, have antibodies, and then be able to go out and not infect other people, which is 100% wrong.
New research published in the Journal of the American Medical Association says the U.S. death rate is high even when compared to other countries with high mortality rates.
Welcome back. We are continuing our conversation with Dr. Glover, who is the president of the AKAs. And Dr. Glover, you were just saying how proud all of your members are, the Divine Nine. And really, what does this mean for HBCUs? Kamala's win. We know it's a proud moment, but how do we really move that forward, carry it into some type of actionable plans?
Well, right. Well, first, her having attended Howard University, a prominent HBCU, it just shows that America is finding out more about the caliber of people that we produce and how important HBCUs are to our country, because we essentially have been robbing this country of the gifts and talents and perspectives of African Americans, Hispanics, and other minorities. And so we're pleased that these perspectives can now come to the table, because I believe America is at its best when all of us are invested and included.
Absolutely. And you did something too. You went back to your alma mater as the president
Yes.
of Tennessee State University. How was that? And how are you dealing with, an era of COVID and the students and the professors? How's everybody coping?
Well, we're adjusting now. Of course, we've had a few months and we can look at best practices. But, well, first, going back to Tennessee State, it's just no greater honor, no greater blessing than to come back and lead the institution that gave me my start. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just no greater calling when God calls you back home. So I'm very, very happy still to be at Tennessee State University as its leader. And the students, a lot of our students, students come from around the country. And so we're finishing up now for Thanksgiving weekend. They're going home. They're coming back in January. And so we've had a good semester. We're very pleased with that. We haven't had any incidents to speak of for this semester. And it's just been a good semester with alumni kicked in, the corporate community to help us to get the devices that we needed. to make this work, to make it work. And so we're pleased with how this semester worked.
You know, when you started this year, you could not have probably imagined, okay, you're president of the AKA, so now you have a VP elect who's an AKA, and so that's going to keep you busy because you're on this show talking about it, and you have been leading the charge for the organization. And now, you know, you're also president of Tennessee State University under a pandemic. And so you've got to be pretty busy and have had your hands pretty full.
Well, busy. Well, first of all, Black women get the job done.
Hey, you superwoman, I know.
No, we do things. We run the houses, the households. We work jobs, sometimes two jobs. You know, we know we always have full-time jobs and we have other responsibilities. So this is no different from that. But yes, it is a time to be busy. But if you want something done, to whom would you give it? You give it to a busy person. You give it that job to a busy person. And so it's a labor of love on both respects. But I'm very appreciative for the vice presidents at both institutions, especially at Alpha Kappa Alpha, because we have an outstanding corporate office and they really do the job. I am the public face of Alpha Kappa Alpha, but the work is done to corporate office.
So it's really knowing how to delegate is what you're saying, right?
I mean, this is a volunteer job. It's not a full-time paid position.
Right,
But the paid people work at our corporate office in Chicago.
Okay.
It's just a wonderful honor.
Everybody, we'll be right back.